What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Quad Mania 59 channel. Just doing another review on my 2016 Yamaha Kodiak 700 EPS Special Edition. I did a review probably a few months back now, and it was my #1 video. I think I got 4,000 to 5,000 views on it, so I'm doing one again. It's like an update. I put a lot more accessories on it. There's a lot more miles on it, whatever problems, I'm going to give you everything again. So stay tuned. So to start up front here, like I said in the past videos, I've got my most noticeable thing is these Enduro Engineering handguards. I bought these at RockyMountainATVMC.com. They're made for dirt bikes, but they're very easy to install on bikes as well, meaning quads. You got this little adapter here, it comes through, hooks up, 4 Phillips head screws, whatever, pretty simple stuff there. Also, right on the front end, you can see this small Cockpit's a Canadian brand, small LED. I'm not sure of the exact measurements, but it's a really small light bar. I mounted it right on the front. Put a bolt through here, so you can see, and a nut on the other side. That's direct right to the battery, runs through the radiator access panel. Also up front, you can see that I have a Yamaha Warn Pro Vantage 2,500 pound winch. You know, your simple winch. It's Yamaha's Warn because it fits perfectly into the stock mounting plate that Yamaha gives you. Also up here you see you got ricochet armor, front A-arm guards, which are awesome. Also, you got the ricochet bash plate. Everything on here skid plate wise is from Ricochet armor, not directly from Yamaha. That's a bit down there and over here. And if you're wondering what this little bracket thing here is that's for plowing. I plow with this in the winter time and push a ton of snow, and it does a pretty good job. Much better than my old 350 Yamaha. Also up front, well, to the handlebars, I've got Quad Boss heated grips. You engage them with this. It's like a low, medium, high setting. Pretty straightforward. Those are pretty awesome. They heat up really well in the winter. Here's my winch in and out switch. Mounted it right up here. This is all accessories, by the way. What else we got here? This switch here is for that small LED bar on the front, Cockpit's, and this button here is actually for rough country LED lights that occasionally I take on and off, but I mount them right into the rack here, and that's why this hardware is longer than stock, because I have it ready to put them back on again, but it still holds up fine. So that's what the switch is for. It's for rough country LED pods, which also are great LEDs, and they're pretty inexpensive. Also, tires and wheels. The quad odometer hit about 900 miles, and my maxi stocks were burnt out. I put on a set of DWT Moapas. They're for side-by-sides and ATVs. I love them. They're amazing tire. They got the sidewall tread. They're run flat technology. It's got sort of a bighorn, Maxxis bighorn tread pattern, but it's a little different. I believe it's a 6-ply tire, but I love the way that the sidewall comes right over. We ride in really rocky areas, as you could tell from the rim damage, but they've been holding up fine. No flats, thank God. Speaking of the wheels, they're ITP Hurricanes 12-inch. I'm not a fan of big wheels, so I went with the 12s instead of the 14s. The tire size in the front are stock size 25/8 12s, and the ones in the backs are 25 by 10 through 12s. Sometimes I do wish I went with the 26-inch, but I do like the way the quad handles with the 25s. Also, on a side note, if you're thinking about buying a Kodiak, the stock maxis are incredible. And I know I'm not just saying that because I'm a Yamaha guy, but they really are incredible. I've had probably 3 Grizzly Kodiaks now, and they've all came with those stock maxis, and I've never had one single flat, which is incredible. And I actually considered buying them again instead of going with the DWT Moapas, but Yamaha prices them so high since it's a custom tire for Yamaha. But I definitely have no complaints about the stock tires for the Kodiak. But again, overall, I'm really happy with the DWT Moapas. Just to get you a better look of the tread design, just like that. ITB Hurricanes I'm also very happy with. I do like the ITP, I think they're called the SS12s as well. They're both really great wheels. I've had them on past bikes, but these are holding up just fine. They're really strong too. And I also bought these from Rocky Mountain ATV. It's a great online site. This is them, Rocky Mountain ATV MC. I buy all my accessories from there just because they're straightforward, they're priced decently, and they ship fast as well. From the back, I just want to point out I have the rear ricochet again A-arm guards, which is critical in my opinion for where I live. It's extremely rocky and we're always banging the A-arms, so that's extremely helpful. Yamaha did supply plastic A-arm guards stock, which again did impressively well, but just steel's the way to go in my opinion if you're upgrading. Also something to point out from the back of here, it's not an accessory, but it comes with it, the special edition. It comes with a 2-inch receiver, which in my opinion is also critical if you're towing often. We tow brush hogs, mowers, trailers, anything you can imagine really we tow with this. And the idea of throwing the same hitch that comes right off your truck into the quad is just awesome. It's not like you're buying a Sportsman and you're getting that small, I forget what the actual measurement is, but the smaller receiver. It's not like that. You can just throw the same hitch that's in your truck right into your quad, and it's awesome, to be honest. It really is awesome. And it's nice and long too, because I know Can-Am does give you a receiver like this. It's a 2-inch, but it's extremely short, so you either have to buy one of Can-Am's hitches or you have to cut your hitch, which is a pain in the ass as well. So Yamaha gives you a really long receiver, 2-inch, which is so awesome. So that's another good thing about this bike. I believe, actually there's one more accessory on here that you can't see, but it's actually in here. I put an EPI clutch kit in there. It's rated for 26-inch tires because I have considered upgrading to 26-inch Moapas. But even if I don't, the 26-inch kit does pull the 25s a lot better than the 25 kit would. Like again, it's made by EPI. It definitely increased the torque of the bike. It's much torquier, and the most noticeable difference is it holds the revs a lot longer, and it probably gave me maybe 2 to 3 more horsepower, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's extremely noticeable in the quad. And if you're getting into racing or you're just a fast rider and you need some more power out of this out of the motor, I definitely recommend getting the EPI clutch kit. It works well. It was pretty easy to install. I mean, it took a little while, but it's a clutch kit, so what do you expect? And it's awesome. You don't need a tuner or anything. It's just a simple clutch kit made by EPI. I'm very happy with that as well. Back to the front. You could look at my old review. You'll have this information as well, but I'll give it to you again. You got your front and rear racks. They're fully steel. Positives are they're extremely strong. I could really strap anything down to that. I love the fact that they're real racks. I don't have to have like special bungee cords or anything to fit around. It's just the bungee cord or crank or whatever, pull down, fits right around here, and you can put whatever you want on here. The negative side of it is like Polaris and Can-Am have those like quick attach systems, which in my opinion is so awesome, because you could buy like an aftermarket bag or aftermarket cooler, whatever, and you could snap it in and out of your rack within seconds. But here, Yamaha, you have to actually take out the bolts of the rack and then put those bolts through the pre-drilled holes of the accessory. So every time you want to take like Yamaha's cooler off, you have to take this guy and that guy off to take the cooler off, which is a pain in the ass. But I do like having the racks because they're extremely strong. So I mean, there's both sides of it. But another negative of the steel is it does rust, as you can tell. It's rusted here, and if you look at my other videos, I've actually had to paint them, I think twice now, just because I like black racks. I don't want to see this rust coming through. But I don't know, there's mixed sides of it, I guess, for the steel racks. Also in the front, you see you got your dual yellow halogen lights, stock, and you also got your headlight pod up here. I mean, they're decent. I have a video just on the lighting, the stock lighting. I recommend going to check that out. But it's decent. I'm a big believer in LEDs, so I had to put an LED bar, and I also have those pods, like I said. But they do sell LED bulbs to put right in here, and your head pod. So you could do that as well. Another thing to point out are the shocks on this. They are KYB Yamaha shocks. They're not really, you know, they're adjustable with the tool they give you, which I haven't done because they're set pretty well from the factory. I do some jumping with this, as you may have seen in some other videos, but I have bottomed out a few times. But not bad, not bad, not bad at all. Elka, the Canadian shock brand, does sell a set of shocks for this. Fox does not, but I know Elka does. So if you are looking to upgrade your shocks on your Kodiak, you could do that. Also, from the rider's standpoint of the bike, you have you know, a pretty low front. You can see really anything down there. Right here on your right side, you got your throttle, obviously, your four-wheel drive, and your fully differential lock, which is huge in my opinion. I love that Yamaha still does that. You got your main instrument cluster. You got, you know, your little accessories over here. You got your kill switch, your override, which is not for reverse, which I wish it was, but there is a way to cancel that out if you want to do that. But the override right now is for the diff lock in there, because the diff lock actually has an 18-mile-an-hour limit. But if you need to use the override and go past 18 in like a muddy situation or like a rocky hill, Yamaha does allow you to do that by holding that down. Then obviously you have your start button, your low beams, and your high beams. The instrument cluster is pretty straightforward. You turn your key down, which is in the bottom right fender. You also have your car charging port, 120 I believe it is volts down there. And I also like that Yamaha put it in this little cubby here because it's kind of protected from water and whatever. But the instrument cluster is quite simple. On the left side, you got your icons. I don't know if you can see that there, but it says neutral, and you shift up and down. It tells you what gear you're in. To the main screen, you got your odometer. There's 1,569 miles on this bike. Gives you the time, obviously the speed, your fuel gauge. I'm empty right now. And if you hit the select button on the left side over here, it gives you your trip A, trip B, whatever, all that kind of stuff. Reset is obviously to reset your trips, and clock is to adjust it, or you could hit that button and it goes through your hours, and there's 168.3 hours on this bike. Let's turn this off. Problems for this bike, don't want to jinx myself, but there's been no problems. I do all the service myself, switch out all the oils. I've just switched out my diff and my final gear just because I'm hitting around 1,600 miles. But overall, there's nothing really you have to do that's critical on this bike. What I do every, say, 50 to 100 miles, I clean my air filter, which is pretty straightforward, with, you know, like an air filter cleaner and an oil. I check my oil all the time. I grease my fittings probably every 200 miles. And that's about it, you know. I'm a big fan of keeping my quad clean. I think that's critical. And having a dirty quad is definitely not good for it. But taking a look under the seat, this is your air box here. You got 4 heavy-duty clips holding that down. It's extremely high, so you're not getting water in there, and it's extremely rugged casing as well. Also down here, I don't know what this is. You got some type of pump. You got your toolkit, whatever. I also like that the battery's not here like past models, because it used to get kind of wet and it was kind of pain in the ass to get to sometimes when you have to jump start somebody or you're getting jumped, whatever. The seat just snaps back in, pretty simple. Nice. Also, side note, the seat is very comfortable. I've rode on this seat for full day rides down in West Virginia and no problems whatsoever. Very comfortable. What else? Let's see. Also, where the battery is located, if you're wondering, is under this panel. I believe it's called panel A. This lifts right up and you got your battery under there. It's nice and high, and it's also easy because you could hook up your winch or your LED bar right up through the radiator panel and into here. So it's not like you're running wire all through your bike. Your access panel for the oil is right here. It's very nice. You just twist that. It's nice and protected under that panel. What else is there to say? Overall, guys, I think it's a great machine. I am a really big believer in Yamahas. I think they're, in my opinion, the best machines on the market just because of the reliability. So if you're looking for an ATV with four-wheel drive that will get you from point A to point B You know, we'll make it through some pretty deep mud, up some steep hills. It's got 4-wheel drive, differential lock, and it's relatively fast. And this is definitely your bike. I love the Grizzly 700 as well. I just chose the Kodiak because the seat height's a little lower than the Grizzly. And being a teenager, it is a lot easier to handle, and it's a lot more nimble for me. Negatives to the bike, like I said, the racks are kind of a pain in the ass to use accessories made by Yamaha. I also am not a fan of the stock lights. I wish they'd throw some LED headlights in there like on the Grizzly. The stock tires and wheels for the special edition package is awesome. No complaints on that. And the asking price for the special edition model is not too crazy either. I believe it's I think it's $91.99, something like that. But it's pretty reasonable. You're getting a 700cc, really technologically advanced motor, and plus it's a Yamaha. Like I said, it's drop dead reliability for sure. They don't just say that in their videos and advertisements just to say it. We have Can-Ams, we have Polarises, and this is definitely the bike with the least amount of problems, and it's definitely the bike that is the most universal. I tell people all the time, Yamahas are the most universal when it comes to anything really, tires, accessories, whatever, because like Can-Am, you don't have to plug into a dyno at a shop to fix it, you know what I mean? You could work on a Yamaha yourself, you could change the oil, not have any issues, you could tear it apart, and it's not a pain in the ass to put back together. Yamahas are straightforward, and that's why I've bought so many of them. I definitely recommend this bike. This is the second review I've done for it, and if you haven't seen the first one, go check that out as well. Yeah, that's about it, guys. Please subscribe, please like, please feel free to comment if you have any questions. I'm usually pretty quick to get back, and I know a lot of people have questions about this bike. It's a pretty hot quad on the market right now, just because of how unique it is with its, you know, its lower cost, pretty big motor, and its size. It's pretty, I wouldn't call it small, but it's definitely not the size of a Can-Am Outlander or a Polaris Sportsman. So yeah, I'm trying to build the channel up, so if somebody can please, you know, people subscribe. I'd love to make more videos, and the more subscribers, the more motivation I have to make more videos. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one, and have a good one, guys.